All right. Hello, everybody. We are now live. Welcome to the Lion's Den on the Candy Shop. I am Candace. Everybody else, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
I go ahead.
I let the men go first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Kenny.
I'm Bert.
I'm Hannah.
Yes, and this is the Lion's Den where we get the men's perspective on relationship topics. My husband will be joining shortly. I wanted to start off talking about Kevin Samuels because he is still very popular. I still have little a-holes commenting on my Kevin Samuels video. Like this morning, I still had a comment about being what did they call me? A gaslighter, a woman gaslighter. So I want to talk about him. He had a show recently saying, do women lose value with age? First, before I do that, I want to talk about his followers. So he has a lot of incels following him, and these are men that are involuntary celibate, men that desire women, or desire sex, but they cannot get it. And so it's just interesting to me that Kevin Samuels is the polar opposite of what his followers are, and they only follow him to watch him bash women. And I'll say this, with a lot of his videos, he actually does not bash women. He has a lot of women calling in to disagree with him. And some women agree with him. The ones that agree, he scoots off his show. So I just want to put it out there. Men commenting on my shows, I don't give a damn. I almost said the F word. I don't give a damn. If you don't like what I'm saying, don't watch, because I feel the way that I feel. I have my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion. So there it is. So we'll start this off. So does the first question, I want to change it from does size matter to do women lose value the older that they get? So I'll start with you, Kenny. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't. I would say they don't lose value. I think women, the older they get, I think the more confident they get in who they are, and they ain't about no BS. So that definitely makes their value go up. From my perspective, no, I don't think a woman loses value, but I also know that you have to understand. You got to step to a woman that's older. You got to come correct, because they ain't about that BS. They didn't dealt with that in their 20s and 30s. They already know. They know the game. So if you coming to them, they're gonna want some value, and you have to be value as well. So no, I don't think so. Some men probably would disagree with that. I mean, I don't think they lose value. Actually, I think their value goes up personally.
What do you define as value, though, when you're looking at these women?
I think I call value is being comfortable in their skin, being confident in being who they are, and being about their business, being being independent, and being like, look, I can do what I need to do for me. I just want a man that can help to enhance my life. I don't need you to take care of me. So that's how I look at it, and that's what I see as the value in women. Me personally, as older women, anyway.
Well, thank you for that. That's a new insight I never thought about. I'm gonna move to Bert, and I can't wait for me and Hannah to go. But Bert, what is your opinion on that?
My own opinion, I agree with what Kenny said, but I believe that in a way they do, because some of the young, probably on a younger guy level, a lot of times they might want to have kids, and that might be something where an older woman might be already past. She might already had hers, she's set, and she knows, again, like what Kenny was alluding to, they know what they want. And sometimes that might not work depending on, I will say this, depending on the age of the man.
Okay,
I agree with that.
I agree with that as well. And I want to shout out my cousin Lynn. A lot of people don't know Lynn is my cousin as well, Britannica, her actual government name, but we call her Lynn. Good evening, Lynn, and thank you for joining my show. I like what you said, Bert. What you're saying is somewhat similar to what Kenny has said as well. It's crazy. The women, y'all are gonna be shocked by our answers, but go ahead, Hannah.
I think we do as a woman. I'm not. No, our confidence definitely goes up.
Mhm.
Well, most women do, but at a certain age, certain things change. Like your breasts don't sit up like they used to. You don't have as much energy as you used to. Sometimes people get that 40-year-old spread and be wide as the front door. On some people, depends. So I think some parts of us, our value do go down. It doesn't take away our confidence because we'll still have that. But as far as even like Bert said, if you want kids at a certain age, you can't really have kids like you can in your 20s, than you can in your 40s and 50s. It's just you can, but it's not, sometimes it's much harder. So the older you get, our value does change a little, but I don't think our confidence at all will change. Now you can still definitely keep it together the older you get. I mean, look at Jada Pickett mom
Right.
Yep.
and
Yeah.
look at Angela
Yeah.
Bassett.
Straight
Yeah.
up.
You
Yep.
can do
Yeah.
it, but that's rare.
Yeah.
And they have the money to do so.
Yeah.
So, and they have the time. Like, a lot of women are working nowadays and doing different things. So you don't really have what you do, freedom to do certain things. So I'm not saying I agree. Our confidence boosts up, but some part of our value does depreciate.
And to piggyback off of Hannah, Candace, I think speaking from a physical perspective, I'm sure women do. I mean, yeah, I mean, but men, our value does too. When you're talking from a physical perspective, we can't do what we did in our 20s. But I will say this: women's sex drive goes a whole off the
Off
charts.
the chart.
The older they get, ours
Crazy.
go, yeah. So it's a give and take. When you talk about value,
Exactly.
what are you talking about? You talking about the
Y'all get those
physical
pills
value,
ready.
or you talking about the mental value. So you got to pick and choose.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll say this. Well, first I want to read these comments. Hey, Lashita, this is my friend from college. She said some women let themselves go physically as they get older and only change after losing a guy to a more attractive female. And Angel, hi Angel. She said, hey y'all, I think everything said is spot on. So here go my kids screaming. I do feel like women lose value as they get older because when you look at it, most men are looking for a younger woman. Now there are things that we can do for ourselves, like me as a 37-year-old woman, I am very confident. I feel like I've gained value, but my value is totally different. It's a totally different definition than what a man's value would be. I'll say that because when you look at a lot of men that are married, say, let's take well, let's just look at the common story of the husband leaves his wife for a younger woman. He valued that younger woman over what he actually had. And sometimes I feel like there's nothing wrong with your spouse, but it's all in that person that's choosing to leave or cheat. So to be truthfully honest, or to be honest, I do feel like we as women, it's a I'm not gonna say it's a double standard, but it's just different. To me, men gain value as they get older based off of what you can bring financially, whereas we as women, we lose our value in regards to looks. Now, if we are with a man that's willing to allow us to bring what we have to the table, then yes, we can gain value as well. But how many men out there though are looking for a woman that can bring more than just their looks and sex to the table? I want to know that.
Um, I mean, for me, I mean that's part of the piece of the pie. But yeah, I definitely want more than that at my age now. I mean, believe me, sex is part of it, but I mean, we got to bring some conversation and some other things as well, because that's what's going to make the relationship work and what's going to make it stick, and that's going to develop chemistry and all intimacy and all that. So yeah, I mean, still, as you know, I want you to be physically nice, pleasing to my eye, but if we can't hold a conversation. I'd rather sit by myself and drink out this red cup right here.
Word. Word.
Yeah, what if you meet that younger woman though that can hold a conversation? At 24, I was recently out of college. I was eloquent. I could talk. I was young and childless, and I feel like I had a one up on women that were in their 30s because I was educated and attractive.
You
So,
know what?
what do you?
That's an interesting point, Candace, because I can speak from personal experience. I actually was I not an entanglement, but I actually was talking with a young lady that was like 20 years younger than I was. And our
Say
conversation and chemistry was dope. I mean, like, yo, one of the dopest conversations and chemistry, and we were both attracted to each other. But the one thing that I couldn't get past was like, yo, I didn't already experience the whole lot. I didn't been married before, and she hadn't been married, and that's something that she wanted. So I knew I couldn't. I like, no, I can't give you that. And she wanted more kids. I'm like, no, I ain't really trying to have no more babies either. So I have had that happen to me, and that was interesting trying to maneuver that. But you know, I just think it's just weird. You know, I don't know.
Yes, I definitely agree. I want to read Lynn's comment. She said, I will say, as a 54-year-old, my sex drive has definitely peaked. Being a prior athlete, despite what my body is trying to tell me, no, girl, my mind is over matter. I can agree with that too. I really feel like sometimes, though, it's in the person and your sex appeal. And I know some men hate for you to say that. Here go my daughter, wanted to get on camera. Some men hate for you to say that, though. But I really feel like it is the person and what you bring. Because look at Eartha Kitt. Eartha Kitt was seen as a sex symbol for many years. Halle Berry is put in that same light as well. So I like you guys' opinions on that because it's a tricky slope. I don't think there's no right or wrong. I still feel like we do lose value at times though, because if a younger woman comes along and they can talk the talk, y'all is looking.
Oh yeah, you know what? I ain't gonna even lie. My old gray hair beard right here, I'm all up in her face. I'm trying to hear what she's talking about, and I'm trying to say something to her too. So we gonna see what happens. So, but at the end of the day, it's at the end of the day, you got to really, you know, come back into your senses. You know, the physical is gonna kind of drive what you want to, you know, what you see. But eventually, you got to, you know, the conversation is gonna eventually weed all that out because you know if we don't even have the same interests, you know, there's certain things you got to look at the generational gap too. If I'm, you know, I like to listen to jazz and do all that type of stuff, and she want to drop her butt and do all these booty dances. That ain't my thing. I mean, that's cool, but that ain't me. So we're gonna clash there. So you know, a young woman will keep you vibrant though. It will keep you young. I will say that.
I can speak on that.
Okay, I would say that though.
No, and I hear what you're saying because of the fact that, you know, even though sometimes you just the way you want it, like she can drop it, but guess what? You know, she'll listen to jazz, she'll listen to Anita Baker, she'll do things like that. Go back to the old school, you know, we listen to, you know, Nat King Cole, whoever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I got the best of both worlds. You know
I forgot, Bert. Hannah is like a good 15 years younger than you.
You ain't never lie. Almost.
Oh wow. Oh, okay. I know that, right? Oh, I didn't know. I did not know that.
See?
Old head.
That's what's up.
It proves my point.
That's what's up, man. I ain't mad. Hey,
But
you know what?
what's crazy? For us to be him being older, he's in better shape than I am. Like physically, we went to an amusement park and he was able to hop over a bar, and I was like, "Wait a minute, let me get a leg up." So it just depends. So I don't think sometimes it's the age. Like your cousin says, mind over matter. So yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
but don't be telling the world I could drop it.
Hey.
I don't drop it. I'm wholesome.
You see why I'm always cheesing?
I see. And you know what's funny?
The show is PG. The show is PG.
You know what's funny? I've never dated a woman my age. I've never dated a woman my age.
Your wife was your age?
She was 6 years younger than I was.
Oh.
Every woman that I've been interested in has been interested in me has been younger. I don't know why. That's weird. I mean, I ain't gonna say it's weird, but that's just what you're attracted to. Because most women think I'm younger than, well, now that I got this gray, they don't, but most women always thought I was younger than
You look younger than 52.
Yeah.
So most people, like my friend Lamar, you're a part of his organization. My kids, the girl is just crying. But he thought you were a lot younger than what you were.
Oh really? Oh, Lamar did. Yeah, most people, when I tell them I'm 51, they shocked.
Yeah,
I'm
I didn't
like,
know that. I didn't know you were in your 50s.
You got young
Yeah.
spirit. That's why I got young
Yeah,
energy.
I
Young
do.
energy.
And then I try to keep myself in decent shape too.
There you
So,
go.
you know,
That's all it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I can get me 15 years younger like you, bro.
You know what I'm saying? You might have found the recipe. You found the blueprint.
Yeah, already. Yeah, exactly.
But I agree with my cousin Lynn, like when she said it depends on the person and what you can bring, because Lynn looks a lot younger herself. And that's the thing,
Her
as
picture,
black,
I wouldn't know she was in her 50s at all.
and as black women, we tend to look younger. But according to Kevin Samuels, oh, my child. According to Kevin Samuels, yes, black women look younger, but it doesn't negate the fact that we're still the age that we are. So
and you know, he's a clown. You know, the thing about Kevin Samuels, that I would say this, man, and I watched that video and I was just looking at him. I'm like, who are you to go on here and dog sisters and you look the way you look? And I know looks ain't everything, but I'm like, brother, really? I'm like, how you gonna be on here dogging these sisters? Now, I think some of the stuff he is saying is some truth to it, but I always say it ain't what you say, it's how you say it. And I think the way he delivers it is very brash, is very disrespectful. But I also know it's about entertainment too. So I know why he's doing it, because he's trying to get those clicks and likes. But on the flip side, like I say, I think some of the things he said it has some validity to it. But I just don't. I think he's a clown on the way he does that, because he could still have his show and still have followers if he did it the correct way. People would still watch it, listen to him.
the thing is, though, he gets a lot of people feeding into him, and he'll say it. He's like, I'm about making money. I want to make millions, so he's gonna pander to what is bringing him money. He gained that week when he went off on that lady. He gained like 200,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
but
there you
I
go.
want to get this. Oh, go ahead, Kenny.
There you go. So he got to keep it up now. That's his shtick. He got to keep it up now.
Yep.
So he got to keep it going.
It's like what Jay-Z said. What? It's only entertainment. It's only entertainment. Read in between the lines. Only entertainment.
And actually, one of his followers that always comments, which is a female, just commented on my show.
Oh,
so
really?
She said, "White knighting." Miss One Love, can you explain what white knighting is? This is one of his most popular followers, and for some reason, she tends to find my show sometimes.
Okay.
But let me read some of these other comments. Lashita said, when a woman knows her value and plays the field with a few, I wonder, would men just fall in line and get what they are given? So are we talking about Lori Harvey?
Oh, wow.
Lori Harvey.
Right.
And Angel said that Lynn definitely, or I don't know who. Oh, she was saying you definitely don't look 51.
Oh, she's talking about me? Yeah.
Yes, and Lynn said thank you. But yeah, I want to go back to One Love. She said white knighting. So define that for us. Put that in the comments. I want to know what it means.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah, define that.
Neither do I.
One Love. I know you follow Kevin Samuels. I've seen some of your comments. I don't comment on his videos, but I notice she comments, and she comments more in favor of the men, and she tends to get 400 to 500 likes on her comment.
So is she what they call a pick-me? I know that's the new term for it. Is that what she is then?
I wouldn't. Technically, she could be called a pick-me, but a lot of times she's just stating. She just makes a statement. I don't think she's necessarily trying to pander to the men. She's just making a general statement, but they agree with it. I don't feel like, to me, she doesn't come off like she's trying to get chose. Okay. I'll just say that.
Okay. All right.
But she agrees with a lot of the ideologies. I hope I said that right. Ideologies of what's going on today in the YouTube world with the black pill and all that. I think she's just very knowledgeable of the different movements, and so she makes comments about it, and they tend to like her comments. But I wouldn't call her a pick-me, but maybe some people would.
Okay. Well, tell her to keep watching your show. That's good. Come on.
She's commented before. So yes, and she's subscribed. She's actually one of my subscribers.
Okay, cool. So that's all that matters.
Definitely keep watching. I want to go to the next question. That was a good topic. I know Hannah and Bert have to go soon. My husband will be joining soon. But let's go to this. Do modern black men really view marriage negatively? Because and Kenny, you're in TFG. They talk about marriage all the time, so you know how some of those men are.
I would say the majority of Black men today do view marriage negatively, and I would say this because a lot of Black men say, "What's in it for me? Why get married? Why do I get married?" Because and I know this is a bad way of thinking of marriage, but you kind of have to think about it. What if it doesn't work out? Guess what? I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna have to give half. I'm gonna have to give all this. We got to split this and that. I'm gonna probably lose a lot of what I brought in already. So I think a lot of Black men look at it from that perspective. And then a lot of Black men, I mean, I just think that marriage isn't appealing to them anymore. And it's just not appealing to them. They figure like they can find someone, they can string them along for 5 to 10 years and say, I love you, baby. Yeah, we'll be engaged to 7 to 8 years and do it that way. And a lot of women fall for it. So yeah, I would say that most Black men don't look at marriage positively, personally.
Wow, I agree. And look at this comment. This Jay Wood said, honestly, I don't see the point of being married. But I'm gonna move to you, Bert. You are newly engaged to Hannah, so I want to get your view on it.
Well, you know what? I think it's the I just think that it's the era now, and I think that a lot of times a lot of the younger men is what they see in their household. A lot of times they don't see that togetherness anymore, and that can have an effect on them as well. Also, the way they're looking at it now, from a standpoint from what I see, I think it's just the fact that now there's not like a. And I will say this. All right, how about this? Some of the mothers don't want their sons to be married, and not right away, because they'll go by their experiences and they'll say, "Hey, listen, you don't need to marry her right now. You need to go out there, find yourself, do this, do X, Y, Z, the whole nine, and then that's it." Or you need to date around a little bit because you don't know if she's really the one. So it's a lot of things that you can just throw up into that pot for the reasoning why, but I just believe that right now it's just a different era. I think now it's about what can be done for me and making sure nobody takes advantage of me. And that's it, to tell you the truth. From my
Well, thank you for that, Bert. I want to welcome my husband to the show finally. Kennard, he watches a lot of these YouTube channels. Can you hear me, Kennard?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so I want to get your views on why Black men view marriage negatively. I know you watched a lot of those YouTube videos of Save Yourself, Black men, and the MGTOW movement and all that. So tell me your perspective on it.
Right. A lot of those videos really do harp on Black men saving themselves from the outcome of marriage, which is not always realistic. A lot of folks
I think he's cutting out.
Will say, well, okay, if you get married, there's a chance that if you get to be on child support, and that's what a lot of folks think of when they talk about Black men getting married. It seems like it comes off from a perceptual standpoint as a setup to where if you get married, it's just gonna end bad. And I just don't think it has to end bad. I think a lot of our decisions as men cause it to end bad, and that's when you get put on child support. Because me personally, I don't plan to be. I'm married. I actually married into a situation where I have a stepson, and I have 2 daughters now. And I don't plan on this to end where I'm living in a hut somewhere having to pay the majority of my check in child support. So that's an individual decision that they make. But that is a narrative. That is a going thing, that if you are a Black man, you do not need to get married. You do not need to get involved with a single mother. You don't need to get involved with because the system is set up to bring us down. And that goes back to the whole white supremacy thing, to where, we think that just because we are, we think that we're secure, when it all goes back to sometimes our own decision making, which causes our demise. Because I know there are a lot of successful marriages out there. And I think the narrative that says that the people who are saying, okay, well, especially parents that promote not getting married, playing the field, especially for a woman. You're telling your daughter to go out there and play the field. You're setting her up to be a single mother with a child that's going to kind of ease and landslide into her 30s with 2 children because of what you told her. And now her market value sexually has gone down. Now she's going to have a difficult time finding a husband. Whereas you, as the older Black woman, you're married, you got a husband, but you're telling your daughter and you're telling your children not to do it when the shit's worked for you.
Okay. So, and thank you for that, Kennard. I do want to read Jay comments. He said, like, I don't see guys winning when they're married. I don't see men happy when they're married. Remember, happy wife, happy life. What about me? What am I? Just a bill payer? He also said, is that all I got to look forward to? Sex with one box and having to pay all the bills, and then you say, I gotta give up my Xbox. So, so from yeah, you can go ahead, Hannah.
Okay, so going back to the previous comment, I don't believe this saying "happy wife, happy life." Marriage is about compromise, and the husband has to be happy as well. And you can't just focus on yourself in marriage. I think a lot of people, I don't know where that saying came from. I don't like the saying. I don't agree with the saying. I just don't think it's a good saying at all. I feel like both parties should be happy within a marriage. It's not about just the wife, because 2 people stood up there in front of witnesses and got married and pledged a vow to each other. So you can't just focus on one person within a marriage. If that's the case, you might as well remain single if you want to be selfish, in my opinion. Also, women pay bills now. Women pay bills. This is not 1916, 1924. Women pay bills now. And men, you don't have to give up. If you have to give up who you are, then that's not the marriage for you. I think a lot of people look at things and really feel as though you can't be yourself while you're married. Now, there are marriages out there where you can't, but that's not the marriage. That's not the marriage for you. If you feel as though you have to give up a part of you, especially something that you like to do just to remain in a situation, then that's not for you, and that's not a marriage. That's not, and it won't be a successful marriage. So I think a lot of people, as Jay says it right there, I think a lot of people have the definition wrong, and they really don't realize what it takes. It's not one person, it's 2. And if that person is not happy, or husband or a wife, then the marriage can't be happy or successful.
I agree, Hannah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. What were you about to say, Kennard?
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Oh no, I was saying that I agree, and I think even in times when a man feels like has to do the whole happy life, happy wife thing, he's not being honest with himself. He's not stating how he feels about things. He's just thinking that, well, as long as my wife, everything is good to go. But deep inside, he's creating his own resentment. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's his fault. Anytime you don't communicate those things, and I'll admit I did it early on, to where I thought that I was supposed to be this cookie cutter, all around just perfect guy, when that is not the case. And once I decided, or once I got within myself to where I even become more attractive when I am myself, I can accomplish more. Because with a wife, with children and all those other things, I've accomplished way. Anybody who is looking at this thing and saying that you can't be successful or you can't reach a different level in your life as a married person, that is bullshit. It's true. It's not true, because I've accomplished more, I'll say, in the last 4 years of being married than I ever did when I was single. Because now when you're married, you have something else to live for. You have something else to be accountable for, and you go out there and you grind and you do your thing. And you want, as a husband, in my opinion, you want something. You want your children to be proud of you. You want your wife to be proud of you on different levels. So I mean, all this whole happy wife, happy life thing, dude, you selling yourself short, and that's your fault.
Yeah.
To piggyback off of Kennard, I think one of the things that black men we've gotten bad advice about what marriage is. I think we've got a lot of, just to piggyback on what you said, Kinfolk, that happy life, happy wife stuff, that's the worst advice we've ever gotten. I think that's one of the problems you see with black men in marriages. And also, a lot of us didn't really have an example of what we weren't in. We didn't grow up around what we would consider a successful marriage.
Right.
I can honestly say for me,
even if they stayed together.
Yeah, even if they stayed together, it was some dysfunction. But I can honestly say from my perspective, I didn't grow up in a house. My mother never married. So I did not know what marriage entailed, even when I got married. So a lot of black men, either we saw bad examples of what marriage is, or got bad advice from black men as married, you know. So I think that's the biggest issue too that we're dealing with as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that the happy wife, happy life thing, that's oftentimes a misconception. It, like Hannah said, it takes two. And especially in the black households, we are paying bills as well as our husbands. Like we have a combined income. And if we were separate, of course it would be a lot less. So I just want to put it out there. Black men, a lot of black women are not expecting you to take care of them. We know that it takes hard work and that it takes two people to lead the household. And so that goes, I can go on and on and on about this topic about submission and all of that.
And quit worrying about what works for somebody else. Quit worrying about other people's marriages. What works for your marriage might not be what somebody's marriage works. So stay out of people's business. Let they
say that again. Mind your business.
This guy said,
man, that is a huge statement right there.
Mr. Brooks said women do not require marriage before children, so men don't see it as important either. Some women, I don't want to say all women, some women are not requiring marriage before children, but a lot of women do want to be married first. But let me tell you this, sometimes you can't help who you have a child with, because you might think this person was marriage material, and then they show you their true colors. This whole sleeping with somebody and not having a time frame of when you sleep with them, that leads to consequences. Like that was the whole reason why I'm not having sex with you on the first date. So it's about choices that you make, because having sex with you on the first date can open up a lot of doors to other bullshit that can happen. But nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody wants to be free, and we're gonna do whatever. And then when the consequences come, it's like, why did you choose this person? Why did you do that?
So that's a whole other conversation.
You just trying to bag them real quick and that's it. But you better smell them. You better know what's going on out here before you get all trapped up.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, I agree. And talking about the homes and fathers missing, that was one of my next topics: missing fathers from homes. So right now, the narrative is black women are at fault for these fathers missing from the home. So what accountability do black men have? I'm telling you, Kenny, I feel like I get the blame for being a single mom. And one of your cousins has said that to me. One of your male cousins, Kenny, who's my uncle.
Oh, he did?
Yes, the one that's superintendent.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. I already know who you're talking about. We ain't gonna even. I ain't gonna even put him on phone. Okay? We're not gonna even go there. I'm gonna let that ride. My thing is this, man. It's all on the man, because I can speak from my own experience. My mother was a single mother with 2 boys. My dad and my mom never married. She got pregnant with me when she was 16, so she was a teenage mother as well. And this dude, my pops, had a whole nother family that she didn't know. So not only was that, so he was never there. So until what that did for our home, we went through, I know for me, I had a difficult time dealing with that, because being, I knew who my pops was, but he basically, man, he neglected me. I would see him, I knew where he was. He wouldn't even acknowledge me. So that affected me growing up as a black man. And then just to fast forward, my thing is, we struggled. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes there was a struggle in our house. And I had to figure it out to try to help moms to be a man. But I didn't even know how to be a man because I didn't have a father. So he wasn't there to help me, to show me how to tie a tie, help me to teach me how to mow the grass, teach me, how to check the oil in the car. I had to learn all this. I had a roadmap and didn't know where I was going. So what black men in general, because this is just not a black man thing, let me say this, white men are whack too. So I'm not going to just say it's just all black men. But for we speaking to us, but for black men, we got to be held accountable, man. We can't be having these babies out here, man, and then disappear and not being a father in our children's lives.
Yeah, I agree. Bert, do you want to add anything to this? Are you all muted?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I have something to say about this one. Yeah. As far as our community, that's important to the family dynamic. Whether the mom and dad are together or whether they're not, still the black man is definitely needed in that child's life. My dad was always in my life, and even though my mom and my dad were divorced, still he played a major influence in my life and showing me, like what Kenny was saying about the tie and shaving and the oil, and that just brought back memories of with me and my dad and how necessary that was. We dropping the ball on that. I believe like back in the day, we used to be a lot stronger influence, black men in the community. Now it seems like some of us are still trying to hold on to our hip hop, trying to be like what the young bulls are out there. And they looking at us like, oh, you trying to be like me. When I was growing up, especially, in male dominance, it was always, oh, I want to be like that. I want to be clean and fresh like that. I want to wear suits. You was trying to up your game. Now it seems like it's been watered down, it's been dumbed down, and now we have to have a resurgence. Like where the real men at now? Because we are needed.
Most definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to shout out my friend Lamar. Hey, Lamar.
What's up, Lamar?
What's going on, Lamar?
So, Kennard, what are your thoughts?
I think, I was listening to both Kendrick and Bert when I can piggyback and say it all has to do with reverse ageism as it relates to men, because I think sometimes men we had so much prime in our youth. Sometimes we can't leave that behind, and we wind up transferring that over to where we're inadvertently competing with younger guys for women, for resources and things of that nature. And it keeps us from being the type of men that we were mentored by. And I think that's a very unfortunate thing for a guy to have to grow up, a young man to have to grow up, and their supposed mentor is actually competing with him. Because I remember my age now, I'm 41 years old now. And I look back when I was at the Church of Christ in Tuskegee, one of my mentors there, I think he was about 41 at the time. And he did not come off like he was trying to compete with me for chicks. He came off like he was a part of the mentor program. He was a part of the, he was a part of the programs that try to enhance the youth in the area. But I think now, I even look at my fraternity, for example. Dudes like 20 years in the bond, still trying to act like they're in undergrad, still trying to relive that life. And it keeps you from being a leader, and it keeps you from being a person that can hold a young guy accountable to say straight up, dude, you got this girl pregnant and now she's a single mother. What are you going to do about it? Because I know if I would have during that time, if I would have gotten a girl pregnant, I would have been held to a standard to say, look, MF, you got to take care of this child. But now it's a situation where it's like, okay, you get this woman pregnant, and now it's on her. And you go scot-free, you do whatever you want to do. And now the mass community, the women at the church are looking at this single mother like with a judgmental eye, like it's your fault you got pregnant. It's your fault that you're a single mother when this dude just didn't hold himself And there was nobody in his social stratosphere that held him accountable. But it's all on you. And I think that's a damaging thing to our community, and it continues to be damaging because I will say this, being a father now and having experienced being a father myself, I do know that a father in the household is definitely needed and definitely necessary, just as equally opposite as the mother is, because the two balance each other out.
Bingo. That's funny you mentioned that. I was just talking about that to my cousin earlier. You need both, because there's a balance. And if one is missing, that balance is totally off. But unfortunately, in our community, the balance is being most of the time the fathers are missing. And so that has hurt and hampered our community, especially our young men and our young women too. Because I think a lot of times we forget to focus on the women. Because girls need their dad there too. Because normally the first man that truly they can feel love from is supposed to be from their father. And if he ain't there, guess what they gonna do? They're gonna be out in the streets searching for love from a man and looking for something that they should have gotten from their father, regardless if he's in the house or not. So
and I want to read Jay's comment. He said, all real men are dead or in jail for trying to provide a lifestyle. No disrespect to y'all fellas. Now, Jay,
I disagree with that.
The three men on here are definitely good fathers. But I will say this, Kenny, me and you are from Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. At a time, they were arresting Black men in Milwaukee at high numbers. So I do feel like, especially in the 90s, there was an agenda to break up the Black family and to kill and destroy Black men. They arrested, like, if you Google Milwaukee and arrest in Black men, you'll see that it was a large proportion of Black men that were arrested at the time in our hometown.
I agree with that.
Yeah, Angel said, "Woo, Kennard, you just said a mouthful." So, what I want to say, or Hannah, I'll let you talk first, and then I'll give my opinion.
I'm going to just say this. A father, I believe, is needed in a household, but everyone thinks that a missing father is a single household. There's some married people out here where the father is absent and the mother basically is a single mother in a marriage. So it's not always, it's women out here who are married, and it's fathers who, especially some of the business people, the father is not really present. It's basically like you're a single mom in a marriage. So I wouldn't necessarily say all single parents aren't unmarried or actually single. And I don't think people really realize that when they always pinpoint like, oh, the person is missing. No, it's married households or two-parent households where sometimes the father or the mother is missing in action. So I think people need to just broaden and realize it's not just single people. But I'm a big person that believe that two parents are needed within a household. It's a lot are missing, especially within the Black community. But like Kenny said, it's not only the Black community. And I think people really think that it's only the Black community, which it's not at all. And that is a major issue because everything that they stem to be wrong, everyone always wants to pinpoint it and push it back to the Black community when it happens in more than just the Black community. It's just that the spotlight is shined on us for some reason, and I just don't like it. But I do really agree that both parents should be present in the household.
Right. And even if you're not in the household, I mean, you still need to have a presence. I know sometimes relationships and marriages don't work. We get that. I understand that. But as men, you still got to be held accountable for being in your children's life. I know everybody trying to chase the bag. I get it. Money makes the world go round. You got to pay bills and all that. But when you start chasing the bag, is more important than your relationship with your children. We're going to have broken kids. And guess what? Those broken children are going to end up being adults. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to pass that generational curse that they dealt with. It's going on and on and on. And we're going to keep going through the same cycle that we're going through in our communities with fathers not stepping the game up. And I'm just speaking to Black men because I'm a Black man. I got 3 kids. My kids are grown. And I wasn't a perfect father, but I guarantee if you talk to my kids, they would never tell you that I wasn't in their lives. They wouldn't. I was there, So I mean, because I also knew I knew how I felt not to have a father there, And I always said that I wouldn't put my children through that. Regardless of what happened with me and their mother, I was like, I'm always be there for my kids. But there's a lot of men don't think like that. A lot of us are selfish. And I'm just calling us out. I'm just calling the spade a spade. A lot of black men are selfish. Real talk.
I agree. So this is another Kevin Samuels follower that just commented saying, big up to the era of KS, which stands for Kevin Samuels.
Okay. All right.
It said, young women will be thankful in 10 years. Change of times is coming. So I'll say this. What Kevin's, like I said in the beginning of this show, what Kevin Samuels is saying at times is on point, but you have to look at his followers. He's pandering to a certain type of person. So everything that he's saying is not the truth. And I really wish people would look at that. Yes, it is realistic. And let me go to Lynn's comment. She said, speak that truth, Kenny. So with the single parent home and missing fathers, I can only speak from a woman's perspective. So from my perspective and being a single mom at one time, I felt like a lot of the blame was put on me as for why I was single. Also, single Black mothers especially get called toxic. Now, when you look at all of the variables of the situation, you have, say, a girl like myself that grew up without a father. I meet somebody, I have a child, we're not together, and I'm working, I'm providing for my child. I'm not being able to spend enough time with my son. I have a boy child at that. I'm not being able to spend enough time with him. The time that I do have with him, at times I may get a little stressed. I'm tired from working and trying to provide and have this better life for him. So yes, I might yell at him if he does something, but that gets called toxic. And then there's nobody there for me to talk to about my feelings in regards to my situation. I'm just automatically labeled as toxic. I'm damaged goods. And that's the end of my story. And so people don't realize our true feelings about that. And those are my thoughts on that. That's all I have to say. I'm gonna go to these. Bert, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I also wanted to throw in one more point, or a couple more points. We also got to realize too, with a lot of some of the broken homes, sometimes it's because of emotion. Sometimes you do have some women that don't want the men to be a part of the kids' life, and they tear down that man also in front of the kids as well, where they wind up not having as much respect for the father. Now, I know my mom probably have a ton of stories about my dad, but I would never know about it unless it comes from my dad, because of that respect factor, and because, they didn't let it get to that point and understood that, that's my dad. And that's the man that's needed in my life to help raise me and mold me and shape me to be a better man, or a better version of himself.
That's a good point.
So that's another thing that we also got to think about as well. Not dogging everyone. I'm not painting with a broad stroke. Just some of the women,
I agree with that.
Well. I agree. Because my mother didn't bash my pops.
Yeah.
She never bashed him.
My mother didn't bash my father either as well. And I didn't bash my son's father in front of him. Like right now, even though like I'm now married to Kennard, he's his stepfather, but my son puts his father on this very high pedestal because that's his dad. And I will never take that away from him. I love the fact that he views him in a positive light. Even if, regardless of how he treated me or what he has not done, even though I can see that, I like the fact that he views his dad as positive, because not a lot of Black children view their fathers as positive men.
I know I didn't. It took me some time.
And a lot of reasons why they don't.
So I know it took some time for me. For real.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of reasons, and this is on a whole different spectrum. A lot of reasons why the children don't view their fathers is sometimes unfair to the father, because they're looking at their father from the trajectory of the experience of the mother with that father. And sometimes the father has not, the mother has not allowed, say for instance, when you when you have a situation, you want everybody to represent themselves properly. And sometimes when you live with the mother or you live with the father or whoever it is, sometimes you're going to perceive the person that's absent based on how the person perceives them that's present. And sometimes it's not fair, but at the same time, it's going to still be a big influence to that child. And that child will grow up and have resentment for their father or their mother. And then they'll find out, like, say around 30 or later on in life, like, damn, my dad wasn't all that bad. or my mother wasn't all that bad, but my father painted this picture of what my mother was, or my mother painted this picture of what my father was, and now I have to reverse my emotion about how I felt about this whole thing, because now I've been inadvertently lied to.
Yeah,
That's true. That's true.
I agree.
I
I want
agree.
to read. I
Women
want to
have
read
a
some.
lot of influence on their children's women have a big influence on how they children look at
The
their
perception.
parents.
Yeah.
Their perception. They really do.
Yeah, I want to read some of these comments. Jay said black men need to wear condoms and black women need to stop thinking if I get pregnant, the men will stay. Let me just say this. A lot of times these pregnancies are not planned. I'm just telling you that now.
Right.
Because I don't know one woman there are some that want to trap a man, I guess, but realistically, not every woman is looking to trap a man. We like our bodies. We like having the choice to do whatever. So we're not just trying to have children. I'm gonna just tell you that now.
It ain't always the
yes.
man's fault. It ain't always the woman's fault. The man pull-out game is whack.
Lynn, she said, "Oh, my computer is like."
Gotta get the show count together.
Right.
Yes. Yes, but I want to read Super Mulatto's comment. They say the women that call in want what is a HVM? Some type of moment. That's another route. I agree that not all single moms are mess, but women without kids are most men's preference. So that men without kids are most women's preference.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, that's
go
not
ahead.
true. I think most men now. I mean, most women gonna have kids. I don't think most men don't care if a woman has kids. He cares. He cares about as long as they ain't bad. As long as she ain't got no bad kids, he cool. He don't care how many you got. As long as you ain't got no baby daddy issues, we good. Yeah. But we could care less about you having kids. Yeah, I disagree with the last.
I'm not gonna lie. After I dated a guy that had 6 kids, and I'm gonna tell my story time soon. After dating him, any man I dated I did not want them to have kids. So that's why you see me married to Kennard.
Okay.
No kids after him.
He must have some badass kids.
No, he had some whole ass baby mama.
Oh, he had a bunch of baby mama drama. Gotcha. Okay, well, I can understand that.
Okay,
I wouldn't want to deal with that either.
Whole ass.
Mulatto saying they want high value men. I can agree. Those women that call in the Kevin Samuels show, they do want high value men, which is so ridiculous to me. Like, just choose a man. To me, if a man works and he's able to provide somewhat to my household, I'm satisfied with that because I know I can bring something to the table. I'm not looking for this man that has all this money, because I feel like that man, and I said it on the previous show, he could be a child molester, he could be an abuser, he could be anything. Just because he has some money does not make him a good man.
Right.
So,
right.
And I think the whole high value male is misinterpreted. I think Kevin Samuels puts a lot of emphasis on the dollar value of the guy. Now, don't get me wrong. I think every man needs to, provide some level of financial stability to where they can not only take care of themselves, but be a significant impact on their financial household. But to say that, a woman to say, okay, I want a high value man. There are different levels of being a high value man. You could be. I know that. I'm pretty sure there's some $500,000 earners that are actually incels. You know what I'm saying? Like they know how to work a computer, but they don't have the social skills to pull a chick. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So all this $500,000. Does he earn $500,000? Yeah, he might earn $500,000. But just like Candace says, he's a child molester, and he's a sadomasochist. He does a lot of crazy shit, But I think the high value male needs to be condensed down to a man of balance, a man that can, earn a little bit of money, that can have some good conversation, and that can be a real productive person in society, and have the wherewithal to actually pull a woman and keep her. But all this 500,000 unrealistic.
I call it a man of quality.
A man of quality.
A high value man. And low key, I think Kevin Samuels actually lives in a hotel because it looks like he's shooting those videos from a hotel, honestly.
You live in a hotel,
because I'm gonna tell you why. Because one time he was like, he was shooting a video, and then he said, he said something in the regard that made it seem like he wasn't shooting a video from where he quote unquote lived. Because if you look at the space doesn't even look like I'm not trying to put him out there, but I'm just going by what he
no, put him out there. You good.
Because it looks like he's in a hotel or in a very small compartmentalized room that he's renting. I'm not saying the brother is homeless, but if you're doing, like I said, he put it out there as if he was like he was about to go into telling whoever the bellhop is or the front basically the front desk to keep the noise down in the next room. So, brother, where do you stay? You done set up a freaking hotel room and you playing these people. You playing these people like you living a high value life when you living in a damn hotel. And I dare any of these Kevin Samuels people to come for me because I do not care. Kevin Samuels is actually my frat brother, so I don't care.
I know Kanara wants all the smoke. So.
I got your backup, bro. I got you, Kinfolk.
I want to read value.
What'd you say, Hannah?
I need to know what. Maybe it's a younger generation thing, but why do they feel like the only thing women want is a man with money? There are more things out here than money.
These younger women must be asking for it. And when you listen to the women that call his show, they all do say, I want a high value man. I feel like I deserve it. And I'm like, what? Like,
it's true, but that's not realistic. Like, okay, my opinion is a man, yes, has to work. That I 100% agree with that. But a man does not have to define being a man. You don't have to make six figures to say you're a man. You have to be able to work, be able to pay your bills, provide for your household. But women can also bring to the table as well. Also, you have to have a good conversation. You need to be able to talk in the household, talk in public, mingle in different settings. It's a lot that goes into that. And a lot of these women want these high value men, but ain't not able to have a high value conversation. He can't take you to the business meeting. Right? He can't take you here. You're only good for the bedroom. And it's nothing wrong with the bedroom because you definitely need to be good in here. But it's nothing wrong with that. But you can outside of that, where can I take you?
Yeah,
exactly.
I can't take you to a business luncheon because you don't know how to articulate or anything. So you want something out of your reach and think you deserve it, but you don't.
Yes, exactly. I want to read some of these comments because they were pretty funny. So, Liz was serious. She said, I truly hate when women talk down to their children or child about their father, and especially when they use their children as pawns in retaliation. I hate that too. And I hope a lot of Black women get out of that. It looks like she was agreeing with somebody. Lamar cracked me up with talking about the fitting room at Neiman's is where Kevin Samuels is at. That's hilarious. Crazy. Because Kevin Samuels used to talk about colognes on his show, and somebody was like, "Oh, he works at the cologne counter at Neiman Marcus." So Lynn laughed. Jay said Kevin Samuels is the new Jerry Springer. You can hate his show or whatever, but at the end of the day, Jerry Springer show was made in the 90s and still puts out new episodes. I feel like Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, that might be true, but that don't mean it's quality, and it don't mean that it don't mean it's worth watching. I mean,
Jay says City Girls and Super Mulatto said exactly. So yeah, it seems like some of the City Girl thing, because I know last summer it was, what was it, City Girls and Hot Girls, all that stuff.
Was it Hot Summer?
Well, I learned from my niece that Hot Girl Summer and 2020 actually two different things.
Oh, okay.
So apparently Hot Girl Summer was just like schoolgirls or just happy and embracing themselves, being out.
Well, City Girls is scammers.
Scammers.
See, y'all, I ain't know none of that.
I had to learn from my niece. I did not know. She's 20.
Okay. Oh,
Well,
okay. There
I'm
you
just
go.
a good Christian girl trying to make it known.
Girl,
But
bye.
Candace, stop it. After I done heard your
I know,
your talks, your whatever you talking about, you better stop it.
Like,
I
you're
know.
lying.
But no, this young, excuse me, this
Story,
younger
your
generation.
story
I
time,
know, and
whatever.
I'm choking now because I know that God
Because you're
caught
talking
me
on
lying.
the lies.
But no, I just have never been a fan of the scamming type of chicks. I don't roll like that. I'm not gonna scam anybody. And so I believe that newer generation of city girls, yes, it is popular, and I hope not a lot of girls are following it. And I know there are a lot of smarter, younger women out there.
Right.
But yeah, it seems like Kevin Samuels is speaking about these city girl type chicks.
And
But
they got a voice now. You know, that's the thing. Like what Hannah was saying, and you were saying, Candace, what you all
yeah.
was saying. We don't hear a lot of women. Y'all voices is kind of. I mean, it's you don't hear a lot. You don't see a lot of that. You hear more of the women talking about. You know, he got to be a high value man. He got to bring this to the table, this and that, and it works vice versa. But unfortunately, we don't hear you all's perspective on it, because the city
Mhm.
girls or the hot girl summers, their voices are so loud right now. That's all you really hear.
Yeah, no, when I was in college, it was the stiletto pumps in the club. That was
Mm-hmm. Oh,
we
okay.
were wearing stilettos in the club. I guess we was bougie, bad and
Oh,
bougie.
that's all bad
I
and
remember
bougie.
those
Okay.
days. It was big.
So I want to go to the last topic. Now, this is a sensitive topic for me because I've gained a lot of weight. But I want to know, does a woman's size matter for you guys? Now, Kevin Samuels, when you talk to him, he wants a size 2 to 4 woman. That's 120 pounds, and he's saying that anything above that is average or too big or like a man. So I want to know, when y'all are dating women, I always thought men wanted thick, cola, curvy women, Coke bottle shaped women.
Hell
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a damn fact.
My
That's a
chest.
damn fact right
Can I say
there.
that with my
Damn.
chest?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
damn.
This conversation over. We ain't got to talk about nothing else. You already said
You
it,
know,
Candace.
I know, bro.
No,
You
Let's
went
go.
in.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, I don't want you to get out of control, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, you say I'm fat shame, you can say whatever, but I just know how I would like you. But if you got that Coke bottle, you know I'm there. I'm here to pop the top.
I'm getting big as this couch.
Oh.
What? Okay.
See, so size matters. You see that
No,
reaction?
I said I don't want you.
Okay, there we go.
House, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I want you to keep it in proportion. I don't mind if you thicken up, but don't be something where I gotta make a business decision on what to do with you. You feel me? You feel me?
You gotta make a business decision.
Damn.
I like what Mulatto said.
Yikes.
What I'm gonna do here?
Yes, Mulatto said a bit thick isn't bad. So he sounds like a real man. Like some men like a little meat, because I'm gonna tell you this. There was a time when I was a size 0 and a size 2. My face was skinny, and no one was checking for Candace. So I'm just telling you that now. They didn't start checking for me until I got the curves, and I was way more than a size 0 or a size 2 or 4. Lynn said, "Oh, you and Kenny were talking about that. I mean, you and Lynn were talking about that."
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Yeah, this funny that this topic came up.
Yes, Lynn. See, she needs to come on my show soon.
Yeah.
And Mulatto says survival tactics. What do you mean by that, sir?
But I'll be honest with you. I do like a certain. She got to have some curves. I mean, she got to have some curves. I mean, long as it's proportioned and she wears it well, I really could care less about. No, let me back up. No, she can't be too big now, because I'm not a really big guy myself. So we will have some problems.
Start moonwalking.
We will have some problems. I'm gonna have to lift some more heavy weight. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But long as because I love black women. I think black women are the most beautiful women in the world. I love the proportions of black women. I love black women's butts. I love it all. But as long as you keep it together, don't let it get just all willy-nilly, and you got, fupas all over the place. You know, yeah. And then we gonna work this thing out, baby. I said, okay, all right, baby, I love you, but you know what? There's something going on right now. Come on, I'm gonna get you in the dress. Let's go. We're gonna get this done. So yeah.
So Lynn, I'm gonna need you on my show next week with that. That one is ladies' night. But going to the thickness and all that, Kanar can tell you his saying is you can't get to it if you're too big. And y'all know it.
Oh yeah, you can't find it. You can't find it.
Yeah, that's true. That's an accurate statement. That's accurate. Yeah.
You can't find it because a lot of times when women are too big, I mean, your arms can't reach around to but that's a whole nother story. Yes. But you can't get to it. You can't find it. But yeah, the thing is, like with the whole way, I don't know many women that I've met, other than maybe in college or maybe kind of sort of right outside of college, were a size 5 or below. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's not as a realistic thing. Just because I mean, Black women's bodies are like proportion different anyway. You could have like a slim waist, but your ass gets you to about a 7. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So Kevin Samuels' whole thing is out of whack anyway. Yeah. So I think as like most of you brothers said, as long as it's proportion and you can tell where things begin and end, you know what I'm saying? If the stomach and the ass kind of sort of are all congruent together to where you can't find nothing, then that's one thing. But if you have a thick woman, I'll use my wife example. You have a thick woman to where it's like, oh, okay, I it's still all good, then that's cool. But when you have a situation where it's just all around and you can't, like I said, you can't tell where things begin and end, then that's when I can kind of halfway see where Kevin Samuels is talking about. And to Kevin Samuels and his friend's point, the typical Black woman that is thick and that might have a little bit of what I've come to know as a fupa, whatever the hell that is, the little stomach part in the front. Yeah. Even if you got that, if you thick and you're still attractive, can't none of those N words say that they wouldn't talk to that. Oh, I'm gonna turn you down because you got a little bit of a stomach. Man, shut up.
True. That's true because they're gonna try to do it. Oh yeah, they gonna be like a mechanic.
And they're gonna do it. They're gonna be lifting it up. They're gonna do it with a woman with kids. The same guys is talking all that shit. The same guys is talking all that shit will actually date a thick woman with kids, but they'll still be listening to Kevin Samuels videos. Yep.
That's right. Hypocrites.
And wife looking like Esther Roll.
Right. Florida Evans with the afro. Damn. Because
they be the main ones talking shit stuff.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I know a handful right now that have Esther Rollish wives that be talking shit.
You know, my thing with us brothers, man, I think sometimes we be too hard on our sisters, because especially when, let me say this, brothers, if your body kind of built like Fat Albert, you can't be out here dissing these sisters, man.
That's the thing right there. That's the thing right there. You look like Rick Ross when he was in before his whole little transformation.
Right. If you got man,
a little bit of
your girl,
but you know what the issue is that sometimes some men that's bad built think if they have a certain amount of money, and there's women out here that make them believe that you can look like you 9 months pregnant, and they want their women to look like you just Jet Beauty. I'm going back. Jet Beauty of the Week.
Right.
They want Jet Beauty of the Week, but meanwhile. You looking like you pregnant with twins.
Mine's looking like
your neck and head got a Benzino. You up here worried about a girl that you is way out of your reach. That be my issue.
You're right. Hold up. I done dissed a whole bunch of brothers, man, trying to go on there and body shame. I'm like, yo, bro, wait a minute, bro.
Well,
you need to get the man boobs under control, brother. You need some push.
You wear my bra.
J-Rock's comment is funny. He said, as long as she don't have a booty do, her stomach sticking out more than her booty.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you see that all the time, boy.
I mean, I think are women different? Because I think that we can be more critical about our bodies sometimes than men. So
Yeah,
as I'll
we
give
are
you an
very
example.
critical.
I
I
am
agree.
very hard on my body. Very. And like I used to be this size, like literally. I mean, I had little curves.
Mm.
Well, you know, certain things I couldn't help because of my family. But I used to be this size, and else after my kids, I was still this size. And once I start getting my 30s, I gained. I'm not wide, but I gained weight.
Bam.
And oh god, oh Lord, I gained a little weight, and I'm thicker, and I don't want to be. I'm not. I don't know how to describe it, but
Is
I'm more.
Bird happy though? Is Bird happy? Is Bird happy?
Yes.
Okay, well then don't worry about it. You good.
But
That's
I
all
view
about.
myself different than he does. Like I'll see
Oh,
something.
okay.
The other day I was like, "Oh my goodness, my stomach don't look right," and he's like, "What? What stomach? Get out of here with that." But
Yeah.
so I think sometimes we are harder on ourselves about our own weight because we're not happy with certain things or we know how we used to be. So I think sometimes that goes with the women, not necessarily all the time the men. But I know men are physical creatures. Like you're physical, so you're going to look at a woman and observe what you want. That y'all don't walk up to a woman like, "Oh, I wonder what her mind is like. I wonder how her brains is looking today."
No.
You can give two craps.
No, we ain't.
Like,
No,
y'all worry
yeah,
about face.
that's on
I
down
mean,
the
we
line.
don't want you to be too stupid, but
But when you
No,
see a woman down the street, you're not thinking at that moment, "Oh, I wonder if she's intelligent." You're going like, "Oh, damn."
right. I wonder if she had a 4.0 when she went to Stanford. Like I don't give a care about
I
that.
think about me and Kennard. When I was in college, Kennard was not checking for me at all. What people don't know is I actually met Kennard in college, but he does not remember meeting me because I guess I was so skinny and bony. He wasn't checking for me. When I introduced myself years later with the thicker Candace, he's all over like, "Do I know you from somewhere?"
Yeah.
It was just that's hilarious to me.
Right.
Hey,
and that's exactly how it went. Cause that's exactly how it went. Because the skinny, 0 size.
I was a size 3
Yeah.
in college.
Yeah.
So,
I was a 4.
Yeah, that's small. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
I've never dated a woman. All the women I've dated has been like an 8 and between 8 and 12. I've never dated a woman that's small. Yeah.
Oh my Lord! Don't say that out loud.
And I'm kind of, and I ain't skinny, but I'm kind of thin too. So thin brothers like thick women too. So
Yeah.
y'all thick women.
I mean,
thick women always
I don't like bony men.
Oh, you don't?
I don't either.
I can't stand a stick figure.
Okay.
Most women want bigger men. Like
yes,
what?
I can't do bones.
Oh, okay.
Like you can't be looking like Rick Ross out here.
Oh.
I just want to know.
But you can't look like.
Well, for me,
either.
if you're tall, if you're like 6'6" and you're like Rick Ross, I'm considering you. I'm not gonna lie, because you're tall. I like the bodyguard type of man.
Maybe The Rock.
Yeah. And like my husband is considered tall, but he when I met him, he was so little, like T.I. little skinny. And I was like, here, get up, some pork chops or something.
You was trying to think him up.
You thinking him up, huh? Put some pork chops, some chicken.
I like what J Rock said. He said your looks get you in the door, but your attitude and personality closes the deal.
That's right.
And I like
that.
I like that a lot.
Sure.
And that's so true.
Yep. That's real talk right there.
And men said, yes, men that I've talked to like them thickens. Yes, they do. I've never met a man that wanted a skinny woman, including white. I've dated white men, I'm not gonna lie. And they liked the thicker Candace as well.
You know what? Yeah, they do. You know what they like though. They just want some chocolate, man. Them boys be on some. They be on some
rated G or rated G. I mean, you could have been a slim and you're a size 4, but as long as that wagon, great. I'm straight. I gotta have something to grab on.
That's all we ask for. You can.
It's all y'all think about is ass.
Yes. All you gotta do is you get in shape. You can get toned up and everything, but you cannot lose the ass. Because if you lose the ass, we got problems.
Keep with the Lord.
That's gonna negate the whole situation.
What if the woman doesn't like her ass?
So none of y'all are titty men. Excuse my language.
Nah, I'm not
Not really.
Nah, not really. She can have a boy chest. I don't care.
Listen, because you can have
Bert
them,
says
you can have them
somewhat.
justices,
She
but
can have a,
board? No, man.
you can have a boy chest. Them things just there for, I don't know. They're
You
accessory.
know what I mean?
So no board, but
Yeah,
No.
no boy,
Don't
but
be doing that.
you got
doing
that.
that.
Yeah,
I mean, but
man.
it's plenty of women out here who don't have ass and are in the relationships and are married.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But they're not. See the difference. Something black women can be small and still have a curve.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you
true.
can be really thin and your curve it might just come out. So the size 0 and who wants to actually be a 0, especially in this era? Because even white women are trying to get bodies and squats and everything. So I mean, I'm not, however your body is, however you blessed with, I am not talking about anybody or criticizing anyone's body. But I'm saying I think sometimes when you know what you want, you are okay to have a preference. And people think if you prefer a certain thing, you fat shaming or you skinny shaming or whatever. And it's you can have a preference. You don't have to like what someone else like. It's somebody out there who wants that and doesn't prefer a woman with curves. They prefer a little woman, or don't prefer somebody small. They prefer a bigger woman. However, we should not be criticized for what we want and what we see as what we think is attractive.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Do they make thongs for size 0? Do they make thongs for size 0 women?
Yeah, I wore a thong at a size 0.
They do.
It's really, really little.
Oh, it's really little.
Really thin.
Even though I was a size 0, I had the slim waist.
But you know what?
What to do?
I'm gonna keep it PG. Let me keep PG. I think they make thongs actually for smaller women. With butts.
I was gonna say, being thicker now, I don't wear thongs because
it's harder.
It's no reason.
That's when you should be wearing a thong. Because I ain't trying, nobody trying to see it. We trying to pull that thing out of there.
Word, thank
Lord,
you.
is this still PG? We keeping it PG.
What?
You know what I'm saying?
Let me read some of these comments.
Wait,
J Rock says she can't have little breasts and big nipples looking like knobs on the floor.
Damn.
I said they got slack in them.
They got slack in them.
And then Lynn said, "Bro, I never had ass, but when I bend over, I be looking like Nicki Minaj."
Hey! I don't need to know all that. TMI. I don't care about all that. I don't care about you and your thong and Nicki Minaj ass.
Well, they keep commenting. I want to get to the final thoughts, but they keep commenting. He said, "Thong searching on them. What is it? Big cheeks? Is that what he meant? Big cheeks?
Yes.
Maybe you like it.
Thong searching on them big cheeks already.
Yeah. So final thoughts on everything tonight. I'm gonna start with Hannah and Bert. What are your final thoughts?
I'll let you go first. It's Lions Den.
Final thoughts. Look, I got off the rails.
Right, excuse me.
Pretty much from everything that we talked about. But some of the things, it's pretty much on how you were raised, who you were around, what you were exposed to. But I just feel like we just have to start doing a little bit better as a community. I'm talking about on the black men's side, even if the child's not ours, we got to still make sure we can be that role model to the best of our ability, show the way, just be better than. Mm-hmm. And to make sure, like, we were kind of touching on the fact of like what marriage, how's it look? Why should you, the whole nine? Just remember the person that you choose to be with, you got to make sure that you feel comfortable around them and that you feel free enough to be yourself. If it feels like, and trust me, they're going to show you whether they like it or whether they don't. And that could be your measuring stick. Another thing to do as well, if you're kind of teetering on whether or not if you want to make that move later on in life, bring him around the family. Let them smell them over, see how they interact and everything like that. That'll tell you a lot as well. And also, as far as women and their shapes and everything, we all had our fun and we're laughing. And I'm not dogging either on the large sisters or any of the small sisters. It's just I like thickness and big ass. That's all. That's my final.
That's going to be your final thought. Thick ass.
Pretty much. Pretty
All
much.
right. All right, Hannah. Thank you, Bert. What are your thoughts, Hannah?
Well, it's not thick ass, but I just want everybody to really think about self-love and self-care. I see a lot of people following, not even just Kevin Samuels. They look at this social media and they think this is the blueprint for your life, and you allow people to dictate who you are. When actuality, you can only determine who you are. Even in a relationship, even by yourself, you have to still maintain who you are and love the person you are. And I really want people to realize, yes, you can watch the shows, yes, you can listen, yes, you can hear the advice, but don't let that change the person you are, and don't let anyone out here ever make you seem like you're not valued because you're not meeting up to the certain criteria that they feel is the blueprint, because that's not necessarily true. Like you see the gentleman tonight, they stated what Kevin Samuels was stating, it's not really what they want. And so it's not that you don't want something, it's just that you shouldn't let any man or woman out here tell you what to do with your life or how to live it or what do you think you should do, because sometimes that person who wants you for you, you'll find them or they'll find you, and you can live your life with them as yourself. And that's my final thoughts.
Thank you, Hannah. Kenny?
I just want to say about the fatherless homes, to the single mothers out there that feel like that you're blamed for the fathers not being there. That's not your fault. As a black man, I want to apologize for some of these black men for not stepping up and taking care of responsibilities. But again, it's not your fault. Things happen. And I'm gonna call these brothers to the carpet like I have been. We got to do better. We got to do better for our communities. We got to do better for our children. We gotta stop this generational curse of leaving our children, boys and girls, not having both their parents, regardless if they're in the same house, having both their parents put it into them and make them better adults and kill this generational curse. So I want to say that to black women, all single black women out there. I apologize on behalf of black men that maybe shame you and make it seem like it's your fault and it's not your fault, and hold them accountable. And my last one is black women, no matter what size you are, you can be a size 22 or a size 0. You still beautifully made, no matter what. So put that crown on and do your thing, sisters. All right, and keep wearing them thongs too. That's my final thoughts.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you,
Yes.
Kitty. And Kennard?
Just listening to all, just kind of bringing everything into perspective. I just think we need to get to a point where we are thinking more objectively, to where we don't just automatically go the popular route and always think that just because, like Hannah said, just because Kevin Samuels think that you should be dating a 2, you don't even like a 2 like that. You've been dating size 8s all your life, and now Kevin Samuels tells you need to date a 2. Now you feel like that's your thing to do, and then you're not going to be happy. You're going to continue to listen to the videos, and you're not going to be happy. Do what's best for you. Do what you like. Don't allow popular opinion to dictate how you feel or how you think or how you maneuver in the world. If you feel like you're high value at $45,000 a year, then that's you as in your stratosphere as a high value man. If you feel like you're a high value and you date a woman that the most of the bros consider a 3, then that's what you like. Date your 3. Your 3 might be a 10. So I just think that, especially in the black culture, we're not objective thinkers at times. Mm-hmm. We always want to go with the most popular opinion. What am I going to be accepted by? And a lot of times that holds us back, because if you look at all of us, Candace, Bert, Hannah, Kendrick, we all are Black, but we are all diverse in how we look and how we present ourselves. And that's what makes us a great people. And until we start embracing that, then we're going to keep falling short. And as far as like the whole, body thing, as long as you're comfortable within yourself and you like where you are, and let's just say if you don't like where you are, if you can accept where you are and be like, you know what, hey, it's time for a change, go ahead and make that change if that is what it is. Don't continue to beat yourself up because of what you used to be, because this is where you're at now. Embrace it. And if you want to make a change, just go ahead and, drink you some shakes and start jogging or whatever you want to do and just move on. Those are my final thoughts.
All right. Thank you, Kennard. And I want to highlight Lashida's comment. She said, a man will level up to the right woman of value. Together, they will rule the world, take care of self, health, and wealth. And I definitely agree with her.
Yes, sir.
And Lynn said honesty. So I echo everybody's thoughts on here. And thank you, Super Mulatto. Thank you for subscribing. That's what we want to do. Yes. So I echoes everyone's thoughts on here. I want to thank you all for watching my show. I want to thank all of my panelists for joining the show. I thought tonight would be me and with no lions, but you all showed up. So thank you so much. And my final thought is, thick booty girls, we're not wearing thongs because it don't matter. You can't see it anyway, so we going panties.
That worked too. With a t-shirt on, we good.
That's right. You can make it happen. Let's go.
Yep.
So good night, everybody. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. This is the Candy Shop.